Hello again, this is James Byrne. I'm going to share with you another episode on how I believe polygamy is not of God. Never was, never is, never will be, ever. That is condemned an abomination before God. And um, this episode, I thought it valuable to put a timeline on things as they transpired. And this was actually put together by another member of the church, and I was impressed. I liked the work that went into it. I wanted to share it with my on my YouTube channel also. Uh, Catherine Hyatt, I believe, was the author of it. So let's share now the particular document, and we'll start here on the timeline that Joseph Smith's statements opposing polygamy before his death. Now, July 1843 is when Doctrine and Covenants 132 supposedly was received, authorizing plural marriage. We see that the 5th of October 1843, Joseph condemns plural marriage in his journal, but as you'll find out in a future episode, Brigham and others put changes and entries after Joseph Smith's death into those journals. That's the reason why there'll be words and crossouts and other editing things put in. We'll discuss that in a episode on its own. 1st of February 1844, Joseph and Hyrum condemn polygamy in the newspaper. It was the Times and Seasons. 15th of March 1844, Hyrum condemns polygamy in newspaper. 26th of May 1844, Joseph gives public talk in Nauvoo denying involvement in plural marriage. I am innocent of all these charges. 28th of June 1844, Joseph and Hyrum killed. So all this evidence came after Doctrine and Covenants 132 was supposedly received. Do you understand? How could Doctrine and Covenants 132 be received July of 1843, and then he goes on record in journals, newspaper, and his brother Hyrum denouncing polygamy very strongly and very publicly. So there's something not right here. Let's start. There's three denial. 1835, first denial. General Assembly message and advocate for August 1835. And which was the section 101, or if we go to 1844, Doctrine and Covenants section 109, clearly says there in red, inasmuch as this Church of Christ has been reproached with the crime of fornication and polygamy, we declare that we believe that one man should have one wife and one woman one husband, except in case of death, where either is at liberty to marry again. Right. Number 2, 1837, May. Latter-day Saint Message and Advocate, Kirtland, Ohio, 18 May. That we will have no fellowship whatsoever with any elder belonging to the quorums of the 70s who is guilty of polygamy or any offence of the kind. We jump to November of 1837, the Elders' Journal. There's a question posed. Do Mormons believe in having more wives than one? The answer Joseph gave, no. 29th November 1837 in the Kirtland Elders Quorum Record. There you have the reference for it. The charge that was preferred before the quorum against Elder Solomon Freeman by William Perry for the crime of polygamy was brought forward. Elder Freeman pled not guilty of the charge. Testimony for the complainant came forward, Dexter Stillman, and stated Elder Freeman had a wife in the town in Tolan Township, county of Berkshire in Massachusetts, and it was told him there that he, Elder Freeman, came away without his wife. Elder Harlow Redfield stated that when he and Elder Stillman went to see Elder Freeman acknowledged that he come away and left his wife, as was testified. Elder Freeman acknowledged before the quorum that he had left his first wife, came away with and soon commenced living with another woman. He further stated he did not know, but his first wife was yet living. He further stated he would not go across the room to obtain a bill from her. Elder Freeman manifests a careless, indifferent spirit. So the church was bringing cases against these polygamists in 1837. We go on to July 1838. A question. Do Mormons believe in having more wives than one? No, not at any time. But they believe that if their companion dies, they have a right to marry again. December 16th of December 1838. Joseph Smith at Liberty, Missouri, to the Saints in Caldwell County, Missouri. He says, we say again unto you, we are innocent of these things that have represented us falsely, for it was it for committing adultery. We are aware that false slander has gone abroad, for it has been reiterated in our ears. These are falsehoods also. Renegados, Mormon dissenters are running through the world and spreading various foul and libellous reports against us, thinking thereby to gain the friendship of the world, because they knew that we are not of the world and that the world hates us. Therefore, they make a tool of these fellows. We have heard that it has been reported by some that some of us should have said that we not only dedicated our property but our families also to the Lord, and Satan, taking advantage of this, has transfigured it into lasciviousness, such as the community of wives, which is an abomination in the sight of God. When we consecrate our property to the Lord, it is to administer to the wants and of the poor and needy, for this is the law of God. It is not for the purpose of the rich, those who have no need, and When a man consecrates or dedicates his wife and children, he does not give them to his brother or to his neighbor, for there is no such law. For the law of God is, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not covet their neighbor's wife. So that was clearly a no to polygamy. 15th of October 1841. This is an intelligent non-Mormon that was reprinted in Times and Seasons uh, in 1841. So he's speaking about the church. Their faith is a faith which they say encourages no vice, no immorality, no departure from established laws and usages, neither polygamy, neither promiscuous intercourse, nor community of property. So that was 1841, and this non-Mormon observed that the law and the standard of the church was not polygamy or promiscuous intercourse. 15th of December 1841, in the Times and Season journal, a document called Caution published an article cautioning members of the church against Dr. William Campbell, alias Samuel Rogers, who joined church and married a young lady. It was since been asserted that he has two other wives, one in Ohio and the other in the state of Illinois. He undoubtedly joined the church for a cloak of his iniquity. So clearly, Times and Seasons, they were cautioning members of this character carrying on iniquity. 10th of April 1842, Volume 2, Journal, History of the Church. Preached in the Grove after Elder William Law had spoken and pronounced a curse upon all adulterers, fornicators, and unvirtuous persons, and those who had made use of his name to carry on their iniquitous designs. Because that's what was happening. The secret polygamy group that were in Larvu were going on tempting women to indulge in these things under the pretense that Joseph had sanctioned it. And as we see here, 1842, he curses them for carrying on using his name in a misaligned manner. July and August 1842, affidavits and certificates disapproving the statements affidavits contained in John C. Bennett's letters. There's a link there to it if we need to see it. It's a document, but you're better off going to the link. I'm not going to be going into it now. I think there's a transcript there also, which has the written text of it. A large two-sided broadside prepared to counter attacks against Joseph Smith and the church by former member John C. Bennett. And countering John C. Bennett's accusations. 1st of September 1842, written in the Times and Seasons, inasmuch as the public mind has been unjustly abused through the fallacy of Dr. Bennett's letters, we make an extract on the subject of marriage, showing the rule of the Church on this important matter. The extract is from the Book of Doctrine and Covenants and is the only rule allowed in by the Church. And now this piece is what is in Doctrine and Covenants, section 101 in the 1835 edition, or in 1844, the section 109, which says all legal contracts of marriage made before a person is baptized into this church should be held sacred and fulfilled. Inasmuch as this Church of Christ has been reproached with the crime of fornication and polygamy, we declare that we believe that one man should have one wife, and one woman but one husband, except in the case of death, when either is at liberty to marry again. It is not right to persuade a woman to be baptized contrary to the will of her husband, neither is it lawful to influence her to leave her husband. So that was the standard practice of the church. Abhor, disallowed, prohibit polygamy in 1842. September 1842, an extract of a letter from Robert D. Foster in a journal magazine called The Wasp. The Wasp published an extract, the letter from defending Joseph Smith and the church against John C. Bennett's charges. 1st of October 1842, on marriage in the Times and Seasons, reprinted the section 101. We, the undersigned members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and members and residents of the city of Nauvoo, persons of families, do hereby certify and declare that we know of no other rule or system of marriage than the one published from the Book of Doctrine and Covenants, and we give this certificate to show that Dr. John C. Bennett, secret wife system, is a creature of his own make, as we know of no other society in this place, nor never did. Signed, S. Bennett, N.K. Whitney, George Miller, Albert Pedney, Alvis Cutler, Elias Higby, Reynolds Cahoon, John Taylor, Wilson Raw, E. Robinson, Wilfred Woodruff, Aaron Johnson. And also, the Relief Society signs a similar document around this time. We, the undersigned members of the Ladies' Relief Society and married females, do certify and declare that we know of no system of marriage being practiced in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, save the one contained in the Book of the Doctrine and Covenants, and we give this certificate to the public to show that John C. Bennett's secret wife system is a disclosure of his own make. Signed, Emma Smith, President. Elizabeth Ann Whitney, Counselor. Sarah M. Cleveland, Counselor. Eliza R. Snow, Secretary, and then several others. Note that Eliza R. Snow signed this document asserting to there's no other system of marriage other than the one man, one wife. But decades later, she makes this declaration that she was married to Joseph Smith. But we will prove that to be incorrect. But for now, this is the document printed, signed in the Times and Seasons of October of 1842. Also in 1842, 15th of October, the journal The Wasp written, I challenge Bennett or any other man or woman to show a more exemplary man beneath the sun or cite to any time or place where he, Joseph, has violated the laws of this country, or when he has taught either publicly or privately, by precept or example, anything repugnant to the laws of the Holy Bible, or worthy of bonds or debt. It can't be done. It is too well known that he stamps with indignation and contempt every species of vice. If it had not been so, Bennett would have been with us yet. Alas, none but the seduced join the seducer. Those only who have been aligned before a just tribunal for the same unhallowed conduct can be found to give countenance to any of his black-hearted lies, and they too detest him for his seduction. These are the ladies to whom he refers, his hearers, to substantiate his assertions: Mrs. White, Mrs. Pratt, Leemans, Miller, Brotherton, and others. Those that belong to the church have had to bear the shame of close investigation as to their adulteries, and have been dealt with according to church order in such case made and provided in the Book of Doctrine and Covenant. 15th of March, 1843. Letter reprinted from the Boston Bee in the Times Season. We are charged with advocating a plurality of wives and common property. Now this is a false, as many other ridiculous charges which are brought against us. No sect have greater reverence for the laws of matrimony or the rights of private property, and we do what others do not, practice what we preach. Joseph Smith's Journal, 5th of October 1843. Walked up and down the street with scribe, gave instruction to try those who were practicing, teaching, or preaching the doctrine of plural wives. On this law Joseph forbids it, and the practice thereof. No man shall have but one wife. 1st of February 1844. In a notice given in the Times and Seasons. As we have lately been credibly informed that an elder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, by the name of Hyrum Brown, has been preaching polygamy and other false and corrupt doctrines in the county of Lapper, state of Michigan. This is to notify him and the church in general that he has been cut off from the church for his iniquity, and he is further notified to appear at a special conference on the 6th of April next to make answer of these charges. Joseph Hyrum, president of the said church. So excommunication to people who practice polygamy was being carried out. 15th March 1844, in the Times and Seasons. I won't read the whole lot here, but he addresses the church members living in China Creek, Hancock County. and addresses some brother Richard Hewitt's question, which was about um, some elders saying that a man having a certain priesthood may have as many wives as he please. And that doctrine is taught here. I say unto you that that man teaches false doctrine, for there is no such doctrine taught here, neither is there at any such thing practiced here. And any man that is found teaching privately or public any such doctrine is culpable, and he will stand a chance to be brought before the High Council and lose his license and membership also. That is pretty clear. 20th March 1844. Virtue will triumph in the Nauvoo Neighbour Journal. Wherefore, while the marriage bed undefiled is honourable, let polygamy, bigamy, fornication, adultery, and prostitution be frowned out of the hearts of honest men to drop into the gulf of fallen nature, where the worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched. And let all the saints say, Amen. That was written by Emma Smith. 8th of April 1844. Hyrum Smith, a transcript of this, collections of the archives of the church in Provo, volume 1 to volume 6. Okay. One reason I speak to the elders is in consequence of the 10,000 reports which come to me from abroad. Almost every foolish man runs to me to inquire if such and such a thing are true, and how many spiritual wives a man may have. I know nothing about it. What he might call a spiritual wife, I should not know anything about. I wish the elders of Israel to understand it is lawful for a man to marry a wife, but it is unlawful to have more, and God has not commanded any of you to have more. For a man to go into the world and talk of this spiritual wife system, he is as empty as an open sepulchre. No spiritual wife doctrine ever originated from me. No man would have more than one wife, or they will join together and beat him. I was such a woman and got so fooled I would hide my head. I give the sisters leave to wring his nose who teach such stuff. We don't want bogus makers, counterfeiters, or preachers of the spiritual wife system. I think that's a very powerful way showing what Hyrum Smith taught of polygamy. 26th of May 1844. This is a discourse by Joseph Smith, and it's a long discourse, but as we get to this time, as we know, Joseph Smith was accused of many false swears throughout his life. He was double-crossed. He had all sorts of people and witnesses coming against him. And one of the things, as he says there, this spiritual wifery, a man dares not wink for fear of being accused of it. This William Law testifies under oath that he never heard or seen or know anything immoral or criminal against me. He swore under oath that he was satisfied that he would lay his life down for me. and now he swears that I committed adultery. I'll just jump down. Wilson Law swears that I told him I was guilty of adultery. Brother Jonathan Dunham can swear to the contrary. I am innocent of all these charges, and you can bear witness of my innocence of all these charges, and you can bear witness of my innocence, for you know me yourself. What a thing it is for a man to be accused of committing adultery and having 7 wives, when I can only find one. 10th of June 1844, the City Council, Nauvoo City and High Council minutes. Councillor Hyrum Smith referred to the revelation said to the High Council of the Church, which was causing so much talk about a multiplicity of wives, that said revelation was in answer to a question concerning things which transpired in former days and had no reference to the present time. 10th of June 1844, City Council, regular section. The mayor, who's Joseph Smith, said, they make it a criminality for a man to have a wife on the earth while he has one in heaven, according to Keys, the Holy Priesthood. The mayor said he had never preached a revelation in private as he had in public, had not taught it to the highest anointed in the church in private, which statement many present confirmed, that on inquiring concerning the passage in the resurrection concerning they neither marry nor are given in marriage, he received for answer, men in this life must marry in view of eternity, otherwise they must remain as angels or be single in heaven, which was the amount of the revelation referred to. Regarding polygamy, Joseph says, as soon as I had done with the laws and fosters, with uh, he would, which was the law case that was brought against him and that he went down to Carthage to deal with. As soon as he was done with that, I'll deal with those practicing polygamy. And then he says, I think I'm going to have trouble, especially with Brigham Young. So this is right before days, week, or whatever before his death. So the timeline showing Joseph and Hyrum's denouncing of polygamy, vice of in January of 1844, Hyrum's talk in August and April of 1844, Hyrum and then Joseph getting up on 26th of May 1844, denying having anything to do with polygamy, puts it in the time frame. William Marks is getting instructions from Joseph to go put those men on trial and investigate Brigham Young and John Taylor and all the rest. So this is the timeline, and it seems to me from start to finish, from 1835 up to 1844, Joseph and Hyrum were consistently denouncing polygamy, excommunicating members who practiced it, and done everything he could do in journals, in newspapers, reminding members that the Doctrine and Covenants, section 101 or section 109 in the 1844 edition, strictly prohibited polygamy, that the established law was for one man and one wife. No other wives could be married, which would have been an evil and abomination before God. Okay, thank you for listening to this, and we shall. I hope you can join me again in future episodes on this. So, bye for now.